25 minutes past the hour. You ever had the opportunity to go whirlwind around the world in just about 3 minutes? Well, I just had that opportunity. A Trinidadian who is resident in Australia, who is married to a lovely lady who came from the Fiji Islands, and another person who is involved in their whole performance that comes from the Isle of Mauritius. Wow. Just go around the world so quickly. All right, let's meet the Trinidadian first. Errol Renaud comes from St. James.
St. James, just went there.
Wow. How long is it since you've been back home?
Well, actually, I was home in 1990. I try to get back to Trinidad as often as possible.
What is a gentleman like Errol Renaud, who comes from St. James, loves music, doing down under? How come you're in Australia most of the time?
I was introduced to Australia by working with the Trinidad Cavaliers steel band.
Okay, all right. They've taught a lot.
That's the beginning of it all.
All right. What area of music were you involved when you were involved with Cavaliers?
I was just mainly a dancer, and then after I went on to the Pans and continue from there right up.
Okay, now you're on record. You've brought in a cassette, and that's only just a teaser of what you're able to do in terms of your performances.
Yes.
Where does Errol Renaud sit in the music sphere in Australia? I think you're based in Sydney.
Sydney, Australia, that's correct, yeah.
Where do you sit in that whole music circle? What do you promote?
Well, I'm a songwriter, composer, vocalist, and I also dance, I choreograph. Actually, what I do, Wendell, is represent all the different facets of Trinidad culture, namely the steel pan playing, soca, limbo dancing, and other folk dance type.
What is the response from Australians to this sort of presentation? I asked the question because I had the opportunity once traveling en route with a number of Australians. They were taking a flight to Bangkok, then on to Australia, to hear a lot of music from people like Christopher Tambu Herbert, David Rudder, in their World Beat segment of programming on the flight. And, you know, people with their headsets just bobbing and weaving to the music. What's the response in Australia to what you're promoting?
The response is good, and it's getting better all the time. Australians, they know about the West Indies through cricket. You know, we beat them so much that
we beat them so badly
that they tend to relate to us. For example, you say you come from the West Indies, Trinidad, they talk cricket right away.
Okay, have they inquired about Trinidad and Tobago?
Yes, all the time they have this. I mean, Gus Logies and Brian Lara from Trinidad, so you know, we're getting lots of exposure in that area.
All right. Sometime or the other, you happen to travel to the Fiji Islands and met up with a beautiful lady by the name of Janie, who you've married, and she's with us this afternoon. Nice to have you in Trinidad.
Thank you, Linda.
What do you think of the Caribbean?
Love it. This is about my 5th trip.
How would you compare it with home?
It's more flamboyant. We're more reserved type of people, but the foods that you eat here is very similar, although you spice your food more than we do.
Yeah, we're into plenty spices.
Yes. But otherwise, the climate, everything else is much the same.
Okay, let's look at your performances, the whole idea of promoting music of the Caribbean. How difficult was it for you to get into this sweet soca mood that is part of Trinidad and Tobago's culture?
I guess once you got rhythm in you, you've always got it up. But yeah, Errol started teaching me when I first met him, and we did dance. He taught dance, so I used to participate in that. But it wasn't until I came back to Trinidad and took up classes with Ujama Dance Company run by Jean Tony up at Cocorit. And I believe they won last year in West Village. Well, they came 6th, I think. In any case, I was able to get to doing rootsy stuff, which was wonderful.
Okay.
And I took it on from there, and it's helped me a lot.
All right, I'm going to chat with the lovely lady who comes from the Isle of Mauritius, and this is Danielle Donna.
Hi.
How long have you been living in Australia?
I was born in Mauritius, but I lived in Australia for 22 years now.
I can hear the accent, definitely, sort of just grown up right there.
Yeah.
What's the Isle of Mauritius like? I've never had the opportunity before.
It's a tropical island, just like Trinidad. It's very similar. Actually, when I arrived, I thought, oh my God, I'm back at home, you know? But it's really nice. It's a beautiful country.
Okay, I throw out the questions to both ladies at this time. In terms of performing, in terms of getting your act together and doing the thing that is called promoting soca, promoting the culture of Trinidad and Tobago, how do you find it in the climate that is Australia? Either of you.
How do they react to it?
How do they react to it? Yeah, what is their...
They like it. They really love it. There's some of them a little bit, you know, funny and it's hard to get through to them. But they really love it. They really appreciate it.
How long have you been performing?
For a year and a half now with Errol and Janie.
Okay, and Janie, how long have you been doing
10 years.
10 years. Oh my goodness. Well, you're seasoned to this now.
Yes.
Okay,
very much.
Alison wanted to find out, and I suppose most of the viewers may want to find out a little bit about the ability of your hair to be so rich, so strong, so, you know, so Australian.
You wouldn't want to try.
That's absolutely
It takes a lot of time and patience. You know, you treat it like a baby,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
You got to do a lot of moisturizing, conditioning.
Plenty work.
Yes.
Okay, in terms of getting the routines together, how much rehearsal goes into that portion of the whole show?
A lot. A lot. We rehearse at least 5 times a week.
Errol, is there a band that is involved with the group as well?
Yes, we don't have like a permanent group of musicians, but after I write, I would employ whoever is available. Like when we're going out touring, you know, I just hire session men
Okay,
to do the job.
you're telling me about touring. Give me an idea of some of the places that Errol Renaud has taken the culture of Trinidad and Tobago to outside of Sydney.
Well, I have actually taken the culture of Trinidad and Tobago to about 25 different countries. And I'm talking about really obscure type countries like Taiwan and Hong Kong, all around Southeast Asia we've traveled. We've actually covered all the territory around Southeast Asia from India right up to Japan. So, and also the Pacific Islands, Fiji and Solomon Islands.
How long would you spend in each area if you were to visit Fiji Islands, for instance?
Well, let's go back to the last tour that we made, which was in the Middle East. We have actually break into the Middle East. Just recently, we toured Oman,
Right.
the Sultanate of Oman, and we stayed there for 3 weeks at the Intercontinental in Muscat, and it was nice. It was great.
Quite an experience.
So we're looking like spending about 3 weeks to a month in every country that we toured, even longer sometimes.
You spent 2 months in Trinidad and Tobago. Were you in the offing to line up any contracts, performances, anything of that nature? Will we be seeing you in action pretty soon?
Definitely, definitely. I just, Sunday last, I went to visit Leston Paul.
All right.
Mr. Soca.
All right.
Because I've actually performed in so many countries, and Trinidad doesn't know much about my performances. So after last carnival and this one, I decided I've got to try to compete on a soca, Trinidad soca type basis. So I approached Leston Paul, and we're going to record sometime towards the middle of this year. So I'll be coming strong for 9.
Okay, 2 questions very quickly. I know you're leaving on Saturday. Once you get back to Sydney, where do you go next?
We're back to the Middle East sometime in September, and to Japan, Tokyo at the Hotel Meridian in July.
Oh, my goodness, you just hop on a plane all the time, you know. Next suitcase, let's see, I'll use this one this month, you know, that sort of thing. And ladies, 2 questions for you since you've had the opportunity to be here in Trinidad and Tobago. Your favorite soca selection for this year?
David Rudder.
David Rudder.
David Rudder.
Dust in the Face.
Yes.
Yours?
Super Blue.
Super Blue.
The best.
Bacchanal time. You heard it here. Mauritius says Super Blue, and the Fiji Islands says David Rudder. Okay, Errol, nice to have you in Trinidad and
Pleasure,
Tobago. And ladies, enjoy the rest of your
Thank
stay,
you.
albeit a short one at this time. Chatting with entertainers who are promoting the culture of Trinidad and Tobago here at home and far, far away. We wish them the best and continue to see more of them as time goes by. Time for some messages. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.